Order. Call the honourable member for Dawson.
Well, thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. And I rise to paint a picture of climate change, a picture where Camden, just to the southwest of Sydney, is sweltering in 50-degree heat. Over in the west, it's 51 degrees. In the shade at Geraldton, even Perth is 44, Geelong 43, Wilcannia 48, Carnarvon 49.5, and Southern Cross is 50 degrees. The death rate is 12 in 100,000 from heat-associated deaths. 435 are dead over a summer. This is not a Green Scare campaign, but the Federation drought 118 years ago. It has never been as hot since, but the Bureau of Meteorology claims it's getting hotter and hotter. How could it be getting hotter? And how could last year, 2013, be the hottest on record if it was hotter back in 1896, if it was really hotter 118 years ago? Well, administratively, it's relatively simple. The early years are simply wiped from the official record. Sure, you can find the values I'm quoting at the Bureau's website, but they're not part of the official record, the Australian Climate Observation Reference Network Surface Air Temperatures, or ACORNSAT. The official temperature record, the record that the Bureau uses to report on climate change issues and temperature trends, only starts in 1910 and only uses data from 112 stations. But it doesn't use the same 112 stations for the entire period. Consider Wilcannia, a really hot town in New South Wales, the town that recorded 48 degrees Celsius in the shade back in January 1896. Wilcannia has a record that starts in 1879, and the standard structure for housing a thermometer, a Stephenson screen, was installed in 1908. But data from Wilcannia is only incorporated into ACORNSAT from 1957. Obviously, if you add the hottest towns into a series later, then it will appear that it's getting hotter, even if it isn't. So the Wilcannia values are added to ACORNSAT only from 1957, but not the values as actually recorded at Wilcannia. For example, the maximum temperatures from 1973 were all dropped down by 0.55 of a degree Celsius. Obviously, if you drop down all of the temperatures before 1973, then all the later temperatures will appear warmer, even if they are not. This change to all of the Wilcannia maximum temperatures before 1973 is listed in this 28-page summary of adjustments released by the Bureau following a series of articles in the Australian newspaper by Graham Lloyd, drawing extensively from the work of Dr Jennifer Marahasi and Ken Stewart. The series in the Australian detailed similar corruption of the record at Rutherglen in Victoria, Amberley in Queensland, Deniliquin in New South Wales. That 28-page document makes for extraordinary reading. It says that maximum temperatures are dropped down by 0.56 of a degree at Bridgetown before 1981, by 0.56 of a degree at Richmond, at Queensland, before 1952, by 0.53 of a degree at Sale before 1970, and the reason given is statistics. At Cape Otway, an automated weather station is installed in 1994. The consequence, a 0.5 of a degree Celsius drop in temperatures before 1994. This 28-page document, which is titled ACORNSAT Station Adjustment Summary, shows that the temperature series for almost every site that makes up the ACORNSAT network that is used to report on official temperature change in Australia has been homogenised. In plain English, the raw data has been changed so that the past appears cooler relative to the present. The document tells us that statistics have been used to homogenise the record for Wilcannia from 1957, but it doesn't tell us why the Wilcannia record doesn't begin in 1910. It is also unclear why ACORNSAT only starts in 1910. The Bureau claims that before 1910 there were no Stephenson screens, a structure now considered standard for housing thermometers, as though this is a good reason for excluding earlier records. In reality, many Stephenson screens were installed from 1889. How can the Bureau justify these actions? Consider the accountant joke, Mr Deputy Speaker. 3 applicants for an accounting job were asked the same question: what's 1 + 1? The first 2 applicants say 2, but the third turns around, locks the door, pulls down the blinds, leans in and whispers, "What do you want it to be?" Well, I'll be writing to the Parliamentary Secretary this week to request an inquiry into the conduct of the Bureau of Meteorology and the homogenisation process. We cannot have 2 sets of books at the Bureau and use fudge figures skewed to support a global warming hypothesis as the official records. These fudge figures are being used for media reporting and scientific analysis. We have a scientific process here being tainted right at the source by a government department, and I seek to table this document from the Bureau of Meteorology.
Leave granted. leave is granted. I call